I would count as my best Test innings I've ever played.
Headingley, there's a lot said about Ben Stokes and his antics with the bat, but I want to pick up that spell that he bowled to you in tough conditions. How was that as a spell? And also, as mentioned, Headingley is known in England that it swings around a lot. A few tips about actual playing swing bowling. A lot of people say see it early and play it late. If you can go a little bit deeper in your thought process about playing swing bowling.
What do I have for you? Probably two things. I actually say still to this day, it's probably one of the best spells of bowling I've ever faced. That second innings, I remember me and Matthew Wade coming into the middle, and we're batting for probably half an hour, or an hour maybe even. It felt forever, and he was bowling, and we were just like, mate, this is unplayable. Like, we're just hang in, just hang in, and we're taking it over at a time, a ball at a time. And you remember saying that, walking or talking there and going, he was bowling balls that were just unplayable. He was bowling fast. He was angling the ball in at you. I think I nicked off twice, got dropped a few times. And I remember that was one of the best spells I'd faced. And I'd probably say prior to that first innings at Headingley, I would count as my best Test innings I've ever played. The 74 out of the 190 we got. Just because it was one of those days where I just felt like the conditions were tough, but in my own mind, where I was at mentally and watching the ball, it was very clear. I was very focused on, I was so focused on the ball. I actually felt like it was really hard to get me out. I felt like, I got to a stage, that's why I was so filthy when I got out to the full toss, because I actually felt like out of most innings that I've played, that innings, I was like, I don't think they can get me out here. I remember thinking that. I was like, I feel so, wherever they're bowling, I feel like I almost, like you said, seeing the ball real early. And you don't always have that. Different light, the sun's in a different spot, whatever it is. The ball's not always as easy to see. Tips on swing bowling. Probably one of the biggest things I learned over in England was swing bowling is probably to play with the angle of the swing. I think as batters, we always get caught up in trying to play real straight, trying to play the ball back down the ground. And I think actually in England, you have to play the ball a bit squarer. You have to hit the ball more, through cover, through extra cover, with the angle of the swing if it's an outswinger, and then obviously the opposite way. If he's bowling in swing, you don't want to hit the ball down the ground. You want to hit the ball sort of to mid-wicket or to square leg with the angle of the swing.
Would you also look to kind of bat outside your crease? And a lot of people say you've got to watch the ball out the hand in terms of which way it shined, but it's easier said than done. That do you look for a little tip like that, or angle of wrist
100%,
position, arm position, etc.? Does that come into your thought process?
100%, yeah. So subconsciously, you're always picking up little cues. So you're looking for the ball. You see the seam. I'm always looking for the seam. See if I can see the angle of the seam, where the seam's bouncing, where it's actually bouncing on the seam. Seeing if I can, pick up any cues that's going to help me. But once again, that's so dictated to by light. Some days, I remember that day, because it was overcast, the ball was actually quite clear to see with the new ball because it was shiny, but it was quite dusky look. Sometimes when it's really bright, the ball doesn't really reflect that well with the sun. So I remember that day, I found it like I saw the ball real early and the swing and the seam. And I almost felt like as it came out of his hand, I knew what shot I wanted to play already. So I think any cues you can pick up as you're running in. Sometimes it's really hard to sort of, I try and watch the ball maybe early when he's running up to see if I can pick up any cues, wrist position, wrist angle, shiny side, rough side, depending on if it's reversing. And then the next point I'm sort of looking at is more delivery. So where the ball actually goes. I subconsciously don't think I try and watch the ball, through that part. I think I try and watch the ball here, and then I try and then switch my focus to release point.
And then would you ever look to bat outside your crease, change guard, etc.? Would you ever?
100%. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Just depending on what the bowler's doing, what the ball's doing, and then just trying to play the numbers game really. So yeah, if Muhammad Abbas is coming in and he's trying to bowl straight and hit me on the pad, I know his mode of dismissal is LBW. So, you're batting out of your crease to try and eliminate that and put a bit of pressure back on him to say, well, how are you going to get me out now? Because LBW is almost out of the equation. So you just keep shifting the statistics of the game into your favour.
Okay.